Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of Double Pivot. For those of you who don't know us, I'm Andrew, that's Timmy, and we're your holding midfielders here on Double Pivot. We're two guys from Section 205 pretend to know ball. For you actual ball knowers out there, you can decide which of us is the deep line playmaker and which is the destroyer. We are co-hosts for the show, and we appreciate all of you for joining us in the live chat tonight. And since this episode will spend time reflecting on this past season, what better way to honor RAFC to have not just two holding midfielders, but rather start 5 instead. So that's right, we got a quintuple pivot for you to hear tonight. Before I bring in the rest of the group, just a reminder that we ask you to please take a second to subscribe to our channel and hit that thumbs up button. It helps the algorithm bring Tide Talk to more people. So with that out of the way, let's cozy up, grab your espresso, and let's get started. We've got a great episode.
Hold on a sec, guys.
Oh, you got?
Sorry, I'm confused.
I think that cup needs to be bigger. Yep, that's good. All right, hands. I don't like what you got there, so let's boot hands. And then love it. Timmy and I were wondering who was going to come prepared for the bit tonight.
So. I got my espresso cup. I'm not going to drink espresso right now, but I'll be up till 4 in the morning if I do.
I already pregame with an espresso with a family beforehand.
That's why I went with hops.
Number 2. All right, so got a great episode planned for you tonight. So let's start by pulling in my co-host Timmy, who's going to be breaking it down for us and introducing our special guest here tonight.
Yeah. So. Hi, everyone. This is Double Pivot. For those who have not listened before, we call it like a Rhode Island FC variety show where we go through, it's like a handful of segments, whatever's kind of relevant to the team at the time of the episode. As Andrew alluded to, and as you can all see, we are joined by Matt and Ryan from the main Tide Talk podcast, and also Matt Hands of TideTalkRI.com blogging glory. Instead of kicking it to each of you, and asking how you're doing, I'm just going to go in the spirit of Double Pivot. Start with you, Matt K. Favorite Thanksgiving food, please?
Oh, it's stuffing. And it's a close second is cranberry sauce, but it has to be out of a can. If it doesn't have the lines, I don't want it.
Correct answers, in my opinion. Matt Hands.
Sorry, muted. I'm sorry to be boring. I'm with Matt on the stuffing as a side. That's it. Stuffing.
All right, Ryan, you gonna break out of that mold?
I also am team stuffing, but my number 2 is definitely sweet potato casserole.
Man, I'm proud of this entire group for going stuffing. I guess Quadros, where do you land on this?
You probably won't be proud of me then. I'm mashed potatoes with the gravy. Love the fucking gravy.
Not bad.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm not offended by that. I think mashed potatoes are overrated only because people like run them up so highly. I think mashed potatoes are just like a good part of the meal, but it all
you can also have them with so many other meals. Stuffing is Thanksgiving specific, right?
True.
Completely agree.
Which I actually think we need to break the stigma there. Like we should be having stuffing more often.
I'm with you.
I even think that about turkey. I don't know when people started hating on turkey. Like I think turkey is good.
I agree. People hate on turkey for a while now, but I think it needs to be more than just a Thanksgiving meal.
Can I actually bring something up from your intro?
What's up,
please?
You guys bring up a quadruple pivot. I'm actually shocked we never saw that this season.
I mean, we definitely saw more than 5 midfielders start at the same time.
It's true.
But yeah, okay. So as for the segments for today, we've basically got 2 planned. The first, we're going to do keep, loan, and sell. So we're going to run through the entire player roster going by positions. We're going to each share our input on what we think the team should do as proceeding with each of those players. Not what we think they will do, what we think they should do. And then after that, Andrew is also going to share, and we'll discuss the results of a fan survey that we sent out earlier this week, asking fans basically to reflect on the 2025 season, selecting 5 words out of a list of 30 that they think kind of captures how they felt about the season. So we'll get to that second. First, we're going to run through this on our spreadsheet. We're going to do keep, loan, sell. I don't know why that's so hard for me to say, but so fellas, I'm basically going to kick it to each of you. I'm just going to alternate going through each player. What I would say, in the interest of us not repeating last week's 2-hour marathon, is if whoever leads that player, if you agree and you feel like they summarized or their reasons were good enough, close enough, like don't be ashamed. Don't think it's bad podcasting to just say agreed and give the same answer. not to say that we don't want the discussion and the violence when we disagree, but like Quadros and I have learned, we're both not good at just saying we agree and moving on. Like we just have to get our takes off. So don't feel obligated. I would say that.
And just really quickly on the sell piece of this too, just to define sell. Obviously, it doesn't just mean, for the sake of this segment, not just we have a player under contract and we want to get rid of him. I think sell for this context means we no longer want him on the team next year in the context of it being not a loan. In other words, it's not someone that we want on the roster beyond this year.
Yeah, correct. And we will try. Like, we don't know the exact contract status of every player. I think when we do have it, we'll try to share it for the benefit of the conversation. But as our friend FQB requests, I will shut up and get on with it. Jump over to the spreadsheet now. And since we're going by position group, and this was at the request of Matt Hands, who didn't like my first name alphabetical sort order, we're going to start with you, Mr. Hands, and the first player on the list, Jackson Lee. Keep, loan, or sell? What would you do here?
It's a tough one, but I'm going to say in an ideal world, loan. I do think that he probably needs to, for his sake, he probably needs to move on. Unfortunately, we all love him, but I would love to see him get some playtime somewhere and still be under contract here. So I guess that falls under loan. So that's got to go with loan.
Okay. I'm jumping in quick. Andrew, I don't know if you can zoom in at all, but got at least one of those in the chat. But Matt,
very good.
Yeah, that's great. Matt, what do you think on Jackson? Do you agree?
Well, I tend to agree with what Han said, but kind of given things we heard at the block party as he's already out the door, we do know that him being here this year was a trigger on a contract extension based on appearances from last season, and I don't believe that was triggered this season, even with the long spell of run. I would like to have seen the loan option, knowing that Koke is at the later stages of his career, so to have a solid number 2 in there that could eventually take over to number 1. But at this point, out of respect for Jackson, I'm with sell. I'd like to see him kind of move on and flourish and do his thing and not get stuck as a number 2.
All right. Ryan, where are you?
He's a peacock. You gotta let him fly. Obviously love Jackson. He's a Tide Talk favorite, but I say sell in the frame of I want to go see him start to get those minutes elsewhere and become a number 1 somewhere like he deserves to be.
Okay. I disagree with all of you. I don't want what's best for Jackson. I want what's best for me. So I would like us to keep him because I think he's an incredible number 2. I do think he is good enough to start for another USL championship team. Or potentially, I was thinking, could he be number 2 for an MLS team? He's already number 2 for us. He would get paid a lot more. Just a possibility. Personally, I do want what's best for him, but for the purpose of the exercise, I'm going to say I would love to keep him as a top tier number 2.
I'm exactly mine. I had the same thought that you did. I'm taking this from the angle of what's best for Rhode Island and the club in general. And as much as we love Jackson, he's a fan favorite or a Tide Talk favorite. From the lens of as a fan of this club, I'd rather have him here. And we want a strong number 2. We're yet to see Koke play a full season without having some sort of injury, and it's nice to have a reliable backup in there that can push Koke and try to make each one of them better. And I think he did make Koke better this year. So I'd say keep.
All right, we've reached our first split decision here. How do you all feel about this? Do we split the difference and go loan as Matt Hands kicked us off?
I think Hands has to step up and not waffle.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, if you're going to pick, you have to like my answer then, Matt. But I got to stick with keep then.
Jesus,
I don't like. Again, I saw some stuff in the comments. Like, obviously, in reality, we know he's leaving. But for me, as far as
you guys are getting bullied by the comment section on person 1. This is unbelievable.
I was gonna say I feel like the chat's been pretty.
No, chat's been good. I'm just saying, for me, this is more of an exercise of what do we want in an ideal world?
Squad building.
Yeah, rather than like what's actually going to happen, because we all know he's almost certainly leaving.
And I want to say that
yeah,
like Ryan and I said pretty much the same thing, but it wasn't like, sell because we don't like him. It was like
yeah.
Sell because we like him.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. All right. So we've
Oh,
got...
you guys are just fucking big old jerks. This is great. This is a great start, guys.
Ryan, you want to go back to our own pod?
Yeah. We're gonna start a competing podcast right now where you just talk about Jackson Lee for an hour and a half.
Good deal. All right, we're moving on to Koke, who we did pick up his option for next year. We did that in, I think, like a month, two months ago, maybe. So he's definitely here next year unless something changes. We're going to start with you, Matt K.
Keep.
Easy.
No explanation needed.
Love that, Ryan.
Mary. What? Yes, keep El Capitan.
Is that your answer or Amanda's?
Both. The Koke signed koozie with me right now.
Wonderful.
Beautiful stuff. So.
Who solved that? Was that Sarah who figured out?
Sign the
Yeah,
koozie.
there's a big
Signature correct. That's
obvious
crazy.
thing where you put number 1. I actually was shocked you didn't see that. Keep it moving.
Yeah, I've never been good at that, but yep, a lot of keeps
Pawtucket
coming in the
J knows
chat.
ball.
Yep, he sure does.
If it's the real Pawtucket J.
Koke, and I would say any member of the roster becoming a Tide Talk personality afterwards was a very funny idea long term. So please reach out. That's hilarious. Our doors are open.
I would say Koke
We don't
and Clay.
pay well.
Koke and Clay's riddles. Those are my top two to grab.
I thought Quizera was a surefire thing to come on Tide Talk when he's retired, when he hangs them up. But
Instant.
Quadros, what do you got here?
Keep. And not much more to say.
Yeah, Matt Hands.
Keep, obviously. Gotta keep.
Yeah.
Gotta keep, of
That's
course.
just.
I can't believe I was the only Mary. That's unbelievable.
I didn't want
I
to say
had
the other one.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Ryan, we're going to you with Will Meyer, who unknown contract status.
Also unknown at ever seeing him play goalie. So
A real keeper, but yeah.
Loan? I don't. Loan.
Loan.
I would say in this entire exercise, I find loan to be a very strange one.
It's tough in this league. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, loan. Sure, loan. I'll sit on the fence.
Who are you going to loan him to?
Dude, no, you're not just that specifics. I'm not making deals here.
Timmy's team at Wide World.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, damn, it's me. I feel like it's not gonna make sense how many players I choose to keep, but like we need a third keeper. Why not keep him? He's been here, he knows the team. I'm
Just
going
let
to keep.
It's just going to be the roster. It's just like the GM can take the summer off in Timmy's world.
So I do think that's going to be the case, but I have thoughts to share by the end of it. But
You have deep pockets in terms of your salary cap, is what you're saying. You're just going to have like 30 players in the roster.
yeah, well, yeah. Well, no, I don't know about 30, but
We'll see.
all right, Andrew Quadros.
Keep as well. I mean, if we don't end up keeping him, we're going to get another Nate Silvera, Will Meyer type that we don't really know what we're going to get. So it's just he fills the need. So keep.
Totally agree. Seeing a good chunk of keeps, a little bit of loan action in the chat.
I would love to hear from someone who's actually ever seen him stand between two goalposts. But yeah.
Yeah, to Dribble Trip's point, man, he could be the best goalkeeper we have on the roster. We wouldn't know it. We haven't seen it.
He could also be on this panel and someone tuning in for the first time and no one would know who.
This is an interesting question, and I will. Matt Hands, you're going to be up next, but could he be the number 2 keeper next year if Jackson goes? Is an interesting. We don't know. We haven't seen enough, right? Like, how could we say?
Yeah.
I don't see why not to just play a few cup games, but he's big.
he apparently can talk,
Yeah.
according to Tim McDuff in the chat. So that's always good.
That is good. We do need that. Matt Hands, what are you doing with Will Meyer?
I'm just gonna say sell because I feel like I have to say sell on some people, and like I just don't. I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but he's kind of irrelevant, and we can probably just bring in some other college goalkeeper or whatever to like develop. So, yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay. Matt?
I'm with Hans. This is Sell. Let the Tipsy Seagull go. We did hear from one of our friends from the Cue the Smoke pod that he was a very good keeper, and a great person. When I think when it was Jason that went to college with him. But I do think that we need a strong number 2 keeper with USL Championship experience, as I believe it was Ryan or Andrew alluded to earlier, at Koke and his injury. One per season little bout. So I would like to see a USL Championship experience number 2, and then number 3, in my opinion, always bring in a Rhode Island guy, bring in someone from Rhode Island from the area, and kind of have that Kevin Van keeper position, where you have a local guy on the roster as well. So it's Sell. I think we need a number 2 that's experienced, that can step in the event Koke misses some time.
I love that last point. My keep designation here is the assumption that he's not our number 2. If we do need number 2, which we're assuming we are because of where Jackson's at, I don't want that to be Will Meyer.
I could get down with that. If it's number 3, if you're keeping him as number 3, sure. But if we're keeping him as number 2, then I'm Sell all day on this one.
Okay. Ryan, anything we can do to get you off the fence there and settle this one?
Yeah, I'm going Sell. I love this idea of having a third keeper always be a Rhode Islander. That's a
I
very
do
fun,
too.
I do like that.
fun idea.
Is Matt
Like and
volunteering?
Matt did play keeper back in the day.
I know, it kind of sounded like a volunteer when he said always sign a Rhode Island guy.
Sign me up. Done.
We should get
Did your son
Kaler.
play keeper today?
He did. He
There we
made his
go.
debut.
Ooh.
He's
He had a
in.
few good saves.
All right.
Nice.
You got a
I
cool
don't
shot
think
of
they
him
can legally
touching the
sign
bar.
him for a contract, but maybe.
Well, we had Kevin Odroy last year, so we can get one of those.
Yeah.
True.
Academy deals. Yep.
Fair enough.
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
All right. We're we've completed the keepers. We're about 18 minutes in, and we're hitting the defenders. Maybe we pick up our pace slightly if we can. But
I blame the host.
Good luck.
oh, me too. I always blame the host. I think I'm starting Mabika. Unless I'm skipping someone, just call me out if I am.
I'll be honest. I don't know how you're doing this, but you seem like you have some kind of system going. I don't know.
Just
what
going
it
down the list.
just using the list, man. Yeah. So I already wrote it, but I'm keeping Mabika, no doubt about it. He's, as far as we know, out of contract for next season. I would love them to keep him. I think I really want Ewan to elaborate on him saying to sell Mabika, but I think he's a great luxury 4th center back option. I think he can play all 3 of those center back positions. I think he's done between a very good job and a good job in almost every time we've seen him. He kind of fell out of favor with the Diop coming into the lineup and becoming kind of a staple. If we can afford it, and again, it's not my money, so I'm going to keep. I would really like Mabika to stick around as a 4th option, rotation option, start when someone's injured. I think that'd be huge for the defense. I'll go next to Andrew Quadros to weigh in.
Yeah, I hate that I'm going to be 4 for 4 with my co-host here, but I'm also going to keep. And we both ripped the roster quite a bit this season, and we're starting off 4 for 4 on the keep side, which is crazy. Yeah. I will say I purposely am shooting from the hip across the entire roster here because I didn't want to think about it in advance of this, and so I'm thinking about this less in the context of who is the group of defenders that I want to keep, and more specifically for RMA, what would I want? And I do. I thought he was great as a defender all year. I thought it was a little unfair that he fell out of favor after his red card against Indy back in September. But he's someone that I would love to see be a main part of that center back line, whether it's a back 3 or a back 4 with some kind of rotation. So I'd say keep.
Is this a Matt Heads burner in the chat?
Apparently.
I think I know who it is.
Me too, but I thought it was the real Matt Head, so I wrote it into the spreadsheet. Oh God. Oh, sorry, Mahan. So it is.
Yeah,
it is-
I got one of those
On the
too.
podcast,
With,
there's a Matt
Pataka
Hands
J.
burner in the chat. That's answering for him. So it's great.
It's the fake me.
Yeah. So you can share your opinion. I thought you were trying to speed it up by answering in the chat.
I was not, and the funny thing is crazy enough. I have Cell because
Wow.
I do like him. So I'm just approaching it like I want to be realistic as far as like the depth in the team and all that stuff. So I think we have a lot of other guys who can play back there, and he's like borderline for me. Like I'd like to keep him like luxury, as you said, Timmy, but I'm kind of going under the assumption that we don't have that luxury. So so yeah, I'm going with Cell. This is hilarious though. Yeah, I looked down because I do have the chat on my phone, and I looked down and I saw that.
there was also a Sarah loves you babe in there, and then
I don't know what the hell is
Sarah.
going on upstairs right now. I have no idea what's going on. No idea.
All right, sweet. Matt, what do you have for Mabika?
Sell. If he's under contract, I think he's a player that could also fetch a sum or some money to come in. So I would be sell. Any center backs coming in while we still have Karifa Yao, I would like to see kind of in the mold of Hamidi Diop and kind of be more of a versatile that can play on the outside as well. If you have Yao back there as the center back destroying things, I'd like to see some more athletic, players who can cover a little bit more ground and a little bit more skilled on the ball.
Okay, we'll go to you, Ryan.
Ooh, breaking the tie again.
Stay alone.
Loan. One big caveat to this is so one thing we've criticized Kano on this podcast is that GM Kano and Coach Kano kind of are at odds with each other. It seems like with squad building, and one of the big questions next year is what kind of formation does he want to roll out? Is he trying to stick to this back three? And if so, I would say keep Mabika. The thing that you guys, no one has touched on yet is he also clearly has some sort of leadership qualities. He did wear the armband very quickly into his tenure at RIFC. I also think he is pretty good on the ball. I understand the athletic comment, but I would keep him if we are going to stick to a back three system as someone who can play both the middle and one of the outside center backs. But so I'll stick there. Keep it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a 800% chance we are sticking with the back three next season. So I'm putting
I don't know. I think this year could be the kind of shake-up year. We'll see.
I mean, we also assumed that they were going to keep their same system from last year, and they didn't really. So,
yeah, fair. I mean, we'll have to come. That's a fascinating question from Don. We'll have to come back to buy, sell, or loan Kano. that's a different conversation.
We could have used him on that right wing spot based on his career. So
yeah,
maybe keep buy.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to Quadros to start with Aldair. I don't think we know the answer to his contract status, so I would assume not under contract for next year, but you go ahead.
Yeah, I'd say keep. He's another player I think has flashed a lot, showed a lot of promise. I think he was really great at his service, his delivery. I preferred him over Quizera on that left side for most of the year, and considering he's young and developing, I'd love to bring him back.
All right, Matt Hams.
Yeah, keep. Same with Quadros. I think he's young, right? 23, 24, something like that.
23.
23. Good solid player on the left. Keep.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, big keep on this one. The age being a big thing, USL Championship experience coming from Sac Republic. I think he was one of our best signings, probably one of our top 3 additions to this team this year as far as performances go. And I think his biggest key is and probably was still his availability. He's always there. He's always available. I love seeing him stay. I'm with Andrew. I love what he creates havoc on the left.
Okay, Ryan.
Yep, I agree with everything Matt just said. I also love the fact that he can actually play like a true fullback role. And if we ever did go to a back 4, he slots in perfectly there.
Nice. Thanks for stealing my take right before it came to me. I'll just go keep as well. That's our first Oh no, it's not our first unanimous keep. It's our second unanimous. But I do see the
outside of
comment.
Koke.
Right. Second unanimous.
Right
yeah.
into the chair, Timmy. Right into the chair.
I do see Don mentioned potentially like that's a position we could upgrade. I don't disagree with that. I still think it's worth keeping him because of, like Ryan said, versatility. He can play the back four. He can play the with wing backs. He can also be rotational option.
I also think his development could be one of the biggest upgrades that we could get. You know, we mentioned his age. We mentioned, him just keeping on developing, being so young. I think that could be a really big upgrade on it. I'd like to see him there for a long time.
To that same point, something I was thinking today, I wonder how good out there could look if we actually had a functioning right side so that the other team doesn't know every single attack is coming that way. Because he stopped being able to get crosses in like halfway through the season because we could only attack down the left. So
it also exposed our left flank quite often. So we were getting countered along that side every time we advanced.
Indeed.
Guys, that Hugo right back arc is going to change your world.
I'm ready for it. All right. Going to Cole Dewhurst, and it's going to be, we're back to you, Matt Hans.
Yeah, just going sell. Yeah, but he was on the field once, right? Westchester. Did he get on the field against Westchester?
I did witness him at Westchester.
Yeah, late in the game. But yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen anything from him. It's another one of these players that you kind of just sign to the end of the roster, and I feel like we can maybe figure something out. Bring in a Bryant player, maybe. I saw the Bryant shout out in the in the chat there. So I'd be sell.
Fair enough, Matt.
I'm going to go loan. I think kind of similar to my third keeper comment. We're always going to have a PC, third keeper being a Rhode Islander. We're always going to have a PC player on the squad. We know we still have Kevin Vang, and we'll get to him in a little bit. But, whether or not Dewhurst gets replaced by another PC player, loan him out, see what he can do down the league or whatnot, and go from there.
Okay, Ryan.
Full agree. Loan.
I'm going to go loan as well. Quadros?
I'm going to say sell. I do like the idea of having end of roster guys, particularly if they're local. But we had a dearth of options on our defensive line at the beginning of the year when we had a bunch of injuries and suspensions, and he was never used, right? Like they were putting Haraval back there. They were putting anyone back there, Clay, whoever, and that he wasn't trusted to pick up minutes outside of that Westchester game. So granted, it was earlier on in the year, but it doesn't feel like we've seen any sort of enough development to say that he's a reliable option. So I'd rather just find someone else.
Fair enough. North Shore boy, though. We got to have a North Shore boy on the team. Someone who knows their roast beef.
Yeah, someone knows their beef.
Yeah.
Beef gauntlet.
The beef gauntlet.
Throw it down.
Okay. I'm really losing track, but I think it's Matt Kerwin starting for Danny Rivera, who we don't know contract status. As far as I know, out of contract.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ryan?
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Me? Sal. Quadros?
My comment about Cole Dewhurst not being a trustworthy option probably applies double to Danny Rivera. We struggle to fill that spot, and he basically never saw time. And he's not on the younger side.
Right. And
sell.
And he's a Pittsburgh guy, and I just don't like Pittsburgh anymore. So, all right, there's our first unanimous sell. We're going to go to Ryan to start. Frank, I think Frank extended at the start of this season, so he's under contract for next season.
Yeah, I'm going to go keep, Frank's versatility, the fact that he can play wing back and at the center back role. I think he has seen some growth. Keep Frank.
Okay, I'm also going keep. I think it's like a either short leash starter or rotation level, like fourth option center. He's like third, fourth level center back for me, but definitely keep.
I was back and forth between keep and sell, not because I don't want him on the team, more because he might be someone that could be valuable and get a return because he is skilled. And I agree, he wasn't really a regular starter. I do like his versatility. I'm going to go keep just because he's a talented guy and I want talent on the team, but I don't feel strongly about this one.
Okay. My hands.
Dude, Keep.
Did you have to ask him?
Yeah, you don't have to ask. Henry is. I don't know why he's not sleeping right now. I don't know what's going on. But he was put to bed before the pod started, so I don't.
He knows ball though.
What a great picture.
Believe that was taken today.
Maybe with the intention of using it for a burner against you later in the night.
Maybe.
Matt, you got anything other than keep for Frank?
Well, I think last year I would have answered this differently because I think Sell would have been my answer just because I think he looked like he had a very high ceiling and I think he took a step back in his development. He's still only 24 years old. I'm with Andrew. I'm keep. It's a reluctant keep. I do think, it was Andrew or even you, Timmy, that might have said it like third or fourth. I look at Yao and Jope being the first two names on the center back sheet, and then whether it's going to be Stoneman, whether it's going to be Mabika or Frank next is, kind of a toss up right now.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of that hinges on do we sign a proper right back? If we were to sign a proper right back, I might be more inclined to flip my answer.
Fully. You mean a proper right back like Rio Hope Goon, the guy who we had on the roster and simply cut out completely?
Wait, is he not on this?
He's not on this list.
No, he's in here.
No, he's not.
I blame the producers.
Who made this thing?
Man.
That's crazy. I'm just gonna add him on the fly, but
yeah, he ain't in here.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
You forgot about him just like Kano did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking like who else isn't on here, but if I could just remember who is supposed to start the Grant Stoneman one, I would add Rio while we go through. Is it me?
It might be you.
Okay. So Stoneman also under contract for next season. This is another, like, I feel like last season and beginning of this season, I was kind of out on Stoneman. Now I think as like a depth rotation level option, watching Ryan shake his head while I'm mid sentence is just like made me want to change my answer. I guess if I'm keeping Frank and Mabika already, I don't really need Stoneman. So I'll go Sell.
I'm going Sell as well. And I don't mind having him as a depth piece because I do think he's a good depth piece. But as long as he's on the roster, he's always going to be in line for consideration for a starting role because Kano loves him that much. And it just feels like he's a crutch for Kano. And I'd rather have other guys in there. So I'll say Sell.
Good point.
I'm going keep. He's actually grown on me as the season's gone on. I do think he's a good leader back there. And this is a really dumb reason, but I also like his dry personality that we've seen this year. Seems like a nice, cool guy. So, I'll say keep.
Nothing worse than dry hands. This is a hard sell. Get rid of him. I know Kano loves him. Kano glazes him, but I think the backline profile we've built, he's the odd man out as far as fitting in.
Yeah, between Ame and Grant, that's kind of where my decision point was, and I would much rather keep Ame than Grant. So please Sell.
All right. Yeah, getting a decent amount of sell or keep his back up, but good bit of Sell in the chat, I would say. So we'll move on to Diop, who came on maybe like maybe the last third of this season and is signed through next season. We'll start with you, Quadros.
He's a keep. I realized what I saw out of him. It's like he had a lot of growth in those, in the games that he was in, and he came in late in the year, integrated pretty quickly. Seems like he's a lot of promise. And then that left-footed center back thing is important to Kano, and I think we've seen the value of it. So definitely love to see him in there.
Yeah, keep. Nothing else to say there. Very talented, left-footed. Keep him.
Keep, extend, give him a longer deal.
Yep.
Yeah, keep big time.
I think him coming in was a big turning point too, and kind of helping lock that defense down.
For sure.
I agree.
Yeah,
Totally.
and just to expand one thing, like he also is the only left-footed defender we have, and that I to Kano's pointed out when we signed him, but that is like a genuinely great trait of his.
Yeah, this other than Hugo, this would have been like priority number one for me this offseason if he wasn't already signed, which thankfully he is. So easy keep, easy unanimous keep. I'm seeing all keep in the chat as well. So we'll move on to Mr. Yao, and I think that's Matt Hands.
It
We'll
is.
start that.
Yeah, keep. I think he's become one of the better defenders in the league, honestly. I think he's what you want back there as like a physical enforcer. We kind of have the ball playing, center backs around him, especially with Diop and, if you move Hugo back there, whatever. So, yeah, you need that physical player in the middle, and that's definitely him. And I think he's grown also playing with the ball at his feet, especially this year. He was somewhat of a liability at times last year, I think, but he's grown that way this year and been better. So, absolutely keep.
Yeah, he is a man back there. And like I said, it's him and Jope are my first two names on the back line every time. And I think Ewan's got a great comment in the chat. These new center backs have forced Khalifa to be better on the ball. So, enhanced. I think he's one of the better destroyer center backs in the league. So big keep.
Yep, fully agree. Keep.
Same here. Can't overstate how much like that first preseason game at Bryant. I was like, wow, this guy's a loose cannon. He's going to get sent off every single game, and
that
he is
game.
Insanely reliable. Like he's great. Obvious keep, and I really like the point that I actually think he's gotten so much better now that he has 1-2 center backs who are basically better than him on the ball. It takes a ton of responsibility off of him.
He was one of the guys I criticized the most early on in the year last year because I thought he was a major liability with the ball at his feet. I think he improved with his ball control and passing even last year, going into late last year, and then it accelerated even more. It accelerated even more this year. So agreed to Matt's point. Him and Hamidou Diop are kind of the first two on the team sheet on the defensive line. Definitely want him back.
Yeah, probably the most unanimous keeps I've seen in the chat as well. So that's big W for Khalifa. Oh, look at that. Rio randomly appeared on the spreadsheet. Oh, God. Matt K, you're going to start this one.
I would keep him for depth, for rotation. I think he provided so much in the time where we needed him most. I know he was banished to the Shadow Realm before the surgery, but he's a keep. I think he's very versatile and he's very solid at what he does.
Okay. Ryan?
Yeah, I think especially if we're playing the back four, I would love to see him as like that kind of right back, also right center back cover as well. So really liked what he brought to the team. I thought he was like, fighting for that 25-day contract and then getting the full extension. He fully deserved it, and hopefully, gets well soon and is back and ready to play.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to go. I loved Rio, loved his game. I'm going to go sell only because I don't trust that we're going to go to a back four next season. I don't think he has the versatility to play the right wing back or the right center back. Like I really viewed him as a true fullback, and I just don't believe that we're going to play that. So sell for me, even though I loved his game. I thought he was great in that position when we were playing with the right back.
He's still developing too. I think he's a relatively inexpensive option, which is why I want him as a keep and see what he can do in terms of development here. I disagree that we're going to be a back three next year, not because I don't think we are, but because I have no fucking clue. Like I think that there's the potential for a major shakeup in the way this team plays next year, just because of it not working this year. And we saw changes even from last year for a team that went all the way to the USL final. So I'm not operating under the assumption that's going to be a back three or a back four. And between that and just wanted to see him stay and develop, I think keep.
Yeah, I would have gone. It doesn't really matter because keep anyway. I probably would have gone loan. I do really like Rio. So I don't really necessarily want to see him go, but I think that we also have a lot of other players probably ahead of him in the order right now defensively. So, but yeah, I'm also fine, obviously, with keep.
Okay, I do see somewhat mixed responses in the chat. Pawtucket J said sell only because I like him, which I think is fair. Get him out of Kano's doghouse.
It was the Jackson Lee argument.
Yeah. Same thing. I think, and I saw other people mention this as well, the question of whether he was injured. My memory, without pulling it up right now, is that he fell out of favor first, like completely dropped from the team. Then he did eventually get injured and missed the rest of the season on injury. Does that sound right to you all as well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. He also, remember, he was a 25-day contract as a fill-in because we had all those injuries, and then we brought in Mabika, and then guys started becoming healthy. So I think he was already starting to drop down the pecking order to begin with.
Yeah. And I guess to the point I was making on him, we also moved away from a back four at some point, which, I mean, all season it was just a rotating door of what we were trying to do. But for a handful of games in a row, we were pretty reliably playing that shape, and that gave him a role within the team that he kind of lost when we moved away from it.
Yeah.
Okay. That completes the defenders. I guess we should summarize these at the end, but we are on to Amos Shapiro-Thompson. Oh boy, I've completely lost track of who started the last one. I want to say this is Ryan.
Ryan now, yeah.
Okay.
Defiance Player of the Year, someone who, really stepped up. I think he was a bit of a question mark coming into the season just because we hadn't seen him play coming off a big injury, and absolutely stepped up. He was someone who, every single week was fighting to be on the team sheet. Great guy both on and off the pitch, so absolute keep for me.
Okay. Yeah, I'm also keep. I thought about a few versions of this.
I thought you were about to do something insane.
I thought I was going to go play a hitter's ball here and just hate.
I am definitely keep. I will say this on the record. I would like him to be a rotational option. I think he should be either a depth option or sub for Hugo, playing as a 6, or if they're in a double pivot, he can play like the box to box as well. I don't really care to have him doing much beside that. I don't I don't like him paired with Hugo necessarily. I think that's a little limited. I don't like him out on the right. I don't think that's a good use of his talents. And I don't really like him as one of the more progressive midfielders ahead of a holding midfielder. So that's the role that I would like to see him play, but I'm certainly keep, and I'm just going to move that right along to Andrew Quadros. I see some hate in the chat, but that's okay.
I'm also going keep. I mean, his versatility is great. I do, depending on the system that Connor uses next year, if he does end up playing with wingers, I would like to see there be more competition there and maybe have him rotating in as opposed to being a de facto starter on the wing. But I do like the fact that he can play in a pinch in the wingback position. He can play in those central midfielder roles. He can play as an attacking mid. He can play out on the wing, and he gives it his all every single match. So, he really exemplifies a lot of what we want to see in our team, and in that combined with his versatility tells me I want him on the team next year. Keep.
Yeah, definitely keep. Nothing else to say. Defiance Player of the Year, well deserved. Great guy all around. It brings a lot of energy out there that we need, like Quadros is saying, we want to see out there on our team. Man of the people, keep
Amos, sell Timmy.
Yeah, fair. Just don't loan me to Portland. I think I start with Clay.
Yep.
Who we believe is under contract for next season. This is just a no-brainer.
He is.
Yes. This is a no-brainer keep for me. I wouldn't blame anyone for making the sell because we love him and we want better for him argument, but selfishly, 100% keep. And more importantly, find a way to play him in the midfield because that is his position that he plays at. So I think it'd be really nice for that to happen, but definitely keep.
I'm guessing someone else is going to go sell here for that reason. Let him loose and let him enjoy life here outside of this kind of system. But keep. He's been my favorite player, or top 2 or 3 of my favorite players in these 2 years here. He's probably the most versatile and maybe the most skilled guy we have. Like, you need that guy on the roster. It's just a matter of using him correctly. That's the problem. So keep.
Yeah, keep. I mean, nothing to say. Keep.
It's keep, but I totally get what Andrew was saying there. And as long as he's utilized in the correct position, and we never see whatever that was in the final, the conference final again, as far as being subbed on so late. Hopefully that was just Kano doing a Pep Guardiola thing in a final and overthinking and over strategizing things, but it's a hard keep. And I know Andrew Quadros has a Clay Holstead jersey because I picked up his wave kit.
Damn right.
Start.
There's a hell of an idea. I think this is the new most unanimous keeps in the chat. Not even people saying sell him out of respect. This is just all, are you crazy? Keep him. So love to see that.
And I think the next one is too, and I'll lead that one off unless anyone else said anything else on Clay.
Nope, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, this is maybe the single biggest no-brainer to keep outside of maybe Koke. He's probably up there with him and Clay.
Andrew, for the podcast listener, who is it?
That's a good call. That's Hugo Baccarat, who is an amazing player. And Timmy and I called it at the beginning of the year. Just, want to pat ourselves on the shoulder there. Even though I'd never really seen him kick a ball, I just knew he was going to be great. But honestly, he was tremendous. And I think that he was part of that turnaround, really getting him a solidified role. There's still a question of where he's best deployed. I think there is no question with Clay. It's just putting him in the right spot. With Hugo, I think there's a little bit of a debate depending on the system that's being used. But I absolutely want to see him here for a long time.
Hamilton a ride if Hugo's gone. Not great. You're throwing his toys everywhere. Keep, obviously. You put it in before I even said it. Keep. One of my favorite players.
I do want to just quickly, from Don in the chat, capital J stuff here. Hugo is under contract. That's lovely news. I thought that was the most important thing for the entire offseason.
Delete that question mark.
It was pretty wild. I sat next to him at Portland away in the bleachers, and I was like, this guy's really tall, but he's really skinny. Like, I wonder what we'll get out of him. But, as you guys alluded to, one of our better players throughout the season. Keep, Skip.
Keep him.
Extend.
Extend. Play him at right back. Watch him just blossom.
Yeah, nice guy. He'll talk to you anywhere. Talk to you in the stands. Talk to you outside the Westchester game. Talk to you in the bathroom.
With Pau Torres.
Yeah, he had a conversation about Villarreal and Pau Torres, of course, in Unai Emery, of course.
I cannot believe you forced Unai Emery on him and he still just stuck around. What a guy!
I think he brought Emery up. To be fair, I think I only brought up Torres, and he was
There's
like, "Oh
not
yeah, the coach."
Chance in the world that he did, but okay.
Good evening to everyone joining us in the chat. Make sure you like and subscribe.
That's my
Please. Yeah, this is another just incredibly unanimous keep. I will say I am struggling to keep up with the chat. This is amazing, the number of people who are weighing in. Please keep it up. Don't be discouraged if I don't get to it. Like they're flown in hot and heavy, which is awesome. So thank you. Matt Hands, Isaac Anking. Tough one.
Yeah, this one's a tough one. I'm going to say loan, I think. Again, like it's just one of those things. Like it's tough. He's a Rhode Island guy, so like I don't want to lose him from the squad, but I also don't know if he's gonna like be a real big impact player for us at the same time this year. So yeah, I would say loan.
I'm going to say keep. I think we actually missed him off the bench, like we saw in his appearances last season. I think he came in 10-minute spurts and did very good. Scored a goal, get a red card, no big deal. But he did have a lot of very impactful substitute appearances last season that kind of like sparked the midfield and gave the midfield a little bit more progression, which we've seen. We lacked that many times throughout this season.
Yeah, I'm actually loan as well. He hasn't had a consistent run of games for a long time, and I think he just needs to get some consistent minutes under his legs so that he can really just grow and become the player that he clearly has the potential to be. So
You had to mention those legs, huh, Ryan?
Had to mention those legs. We want these views in this podcast, folks. But yeah, I think he's someone with a lot of potential, and I think it's just about consistency at this point. And we have such a packed midfield room that it's going to be tough for him to always be getting those minutes that he should be.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Loan because I do want to keep him as a Rhode Island guy, and I agree. I like his positivity off the bench. I don't know that assuming that we keep some amount of like. I mean, this season at the end we had Busy, Dequa, and Rodriguez coming off the bench. Like he wouldn't have got in ahead of any of them. But hopefully things are a little more sorted out next season, and we're not having players of that quality needing to sit, like Maxi, for example. So, obviously, I'm sticking with Loan. I want to keep him around. Just I don't know if he has a spot like immediately next season.
I say keep for all the same reasons that Matt Kerwin said here, which is, I love his positivity off the bench. I hate the fact that we didn't have it as an option, particularly when we just went through that slog throughout most of the year where we couldn't score, and every time we'd fall behind in the game, we had no one that could really bring enough energy off the bench to really turn the result around. So keep the Rhode Island boy in Rhode Island. I don't know. He's moved around a bit. I don't know that he's ever going to be developed to the point where he's going to be a surefire starter in this league. So if that's the case, then keep him here and just have him be like a core rotational piece.
Fair enough. Looks pretty relatively agreed in the chat. Combinations of keep and loan, which is where we netted out. So we'll go to someone help me out who's got to start this one, but Joe Brito, which I think will be a tough one. Is this Matt Kerwin?
It's Kerwin, yeah.
I want to start, but it's Kerwin.
I defer to my fellow Council of Maps member. I'll let you start, Matt.
No, it's fine.
Joe Burrito.
No, yeah, Joe Brito. I'm sell on Joe Brito. No offense to the guy, I'm just not a fan. I don't think he brings much at all to the team. I think he would bring like a moment or two of moment of magic maybe once in a while. I think he probably scored the best goal technically we had this year against Monterey Bay, maybe the kind of volley. But not to be as many goals this year to go on anyway. But yeah, I'm just full on sell.
Yeah, it's sell for me too. You talked about Isaac being a difference maker off the bench. I think that Joe just doesn't really offer much different, and the fact that neither one of them could really crack in. We loaned Isaac out. I think Isaac actually would have even been a better option. So sell for me.
Yeah, I'm also sell. I mean, I think he found a role that worked out. We saw him start for a while on this team. It didn't really work, but his contributions off the bench were great. But with the team that has so much depth, I just don't know that he really has a true role here. And I think some fresh blood, fresh legs on that bench could be interesting in this offseason.
Completely agree. It's a sell for me. Quadros.
Yeah, it hurts my Portuguese heart to say it, but
I was gonna say
you got to sell him. I mean, his contributions off the bench were good at times, but they were extremely inconsistent, and it's something that Tim and I talked about on prior episodes of Double Pivot. I think a lot of it is game condition specific, and his best contributions are when we're ahead, and we weren't this year, and I'm hoping that we are next year. But he's still too inconsistent of a player to bring off the bench. I'd rather see us find something else.
Yeah, totally agree. So we'll go to Matt Kerwin for Kevin Vang.
Keep. The guys love him. They gave him the player of the match where the players voted. Very low cost, locker room presence. Keep.
Lifetime extension. Sign the boy up.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, short money, usually not even on the bench, but by all accounts, trains hard and beloved. So keep. Easy keep.
Same.
Keep him here until he wants to leave. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree. Just keep. Yeah, like you said, Kano has said in press conference, went out of his way to call him out as a good in training, good locker room guy. So Rhode Island kid, gotta keep.
That's great. I remember someone when we extended him at the end of this offseason, saying it was like a total waste of a roster spot and not understanding that you need to fill out rosters with cheap players.
Correct.
But so we're gonna go to
Yeah.
Ibarra.
Only downside seems to be he's not the best at riddles, but luckily keeping Clay around will help out with that.
Can't all be Clay,
Sure.
but so yeah, we're on to it is going to be Ryan for Mark Ibarra, who, as far as we know, out of contract after this season.
Yeah, this one's tough. I mean, Mark has been, a real mainstay of this team for a while. He's this year was a strange one. I don't think we ever really nailed the midfield dynamic. The Corcoran Ibarra midfield, I think, was potentially the low point of the year in terms of trying to figure that out. But at the same time, he was part of the adult midfield last year. That was just an absolute boon to the team. But I have to say, Sel, I think we are very deep in midfield, and we do have to kind of thin this out. And this is not just recency bias with his performance in the Eastern Conference Championship. I wrote a blog before the season even started with who my preferred midfield would be, and he would not be in it. And for someone who is at this level of his career, I think at this point it's Sel.
Yeah, I agree. It is also Sel for me. He was losing his spot in the team for the most of the second half of this season, or whenever he returned from that injury, and definitely for the last several weeks of the season. So like you said, not Pittsburgh recency bias, although that was terribly unfortunate. I just think it's kind of a role that we've upgraded by having Hugo play in that position. We have Amos as a depth option. We have a lot of midfielders. I don't think he's a necessity for this team anymore.
I agree with everything you guys just said. I don't think he's progressive enough to really distinguish himself as someone that is a better option for us there. And you guys talking about him kind of losing some of his time. That started from the first game. Remember, Taimu was starting over him for the first 2 or 3 games. And maybe that was more about doing stuff with Taimu and see what he has, as opposed to, Mark necessarily losing his role. But his usage was inconsistent all year. He never really solidified a role here. And I just don't think he has enough in his game that differentiates him from other guys to give him more time. So I do like him. I do generally like what he brings, but I just think in a crowded midfield, I'm good on selling him.
Yeah, I agree with Quadros and everyone else there. I think it's Sel. I like him, and I think particularly if Hugo went maybe going to the back line, maybe there's a role for him there in the midfield as the more defensive guy alongside the more progressive player. But I'd have to, because the midfield's crowded. I'd have to say Sel.
I'm odd man out. I'm keep. I think with Hugo playing in the 6, I think Ibarra is the only other true 6 of that grouping. I would like to see him as the Hugo cover. I don't think he would want to be that rotational piece at this point in his career, but I would like seeing him there. Timmy, I know you mentioned Amos potentially doing that for him, but I think Mark's a better midfield destroyer than Amos is. So just as far as roles and having a 6 in there, I'd like to keep him just as cover.
I think what makes this exercise hard is we have no idea what the system's going to be. If we had a better idea of the system,
Sure.
I think it'd be easier to make decisions on these guys.
For sure. Just wait till we get to the forwards, because that's a real what's even going to be happening there. I'm also, since I said that, I'm also time checking us. We're at an hour. Not to say to rush through the rest, but
That's fine.
it is fine. So we're on to Maxi, who we know we signed to a multi-year last offseason, so he's here next year. Is Ryan going on his guy here?
Start.
Same for me. This is another one that's like, what's the plan next year? What was the plan this year? Nobody knows, but you keep Maxi, and I agree he should be in the starting 11.
I'm going to say keep, but only under the condition that Kano has a better idea, not a better idea, a very solid idea of how he's going to be used and how the system is going to work around him. He is way too good of a player to go to waste. And if he's going to go to waste next year or not be a critical part of this team next year, then sell him. Like there's no point in keeping a guy like that on your roster if you're not going to use him properly. So I'll say keep because I want the talent. But if it's going to be another year like this year, sell.
Yeah, I'd say keep. similar to Andrew. We need to find the role for him. He is too good of a player. Grew his hair back on. Maybe. Yeah. No. Keep. I don't know what else to say. I think he maybe should have started. I'd like to see him play next to Hugo in midfield. See how that would go. But who knows? But yeah, he's too good, too talented. You're gonna keep him.
He's a keep start, like Ryan said. Talking with him at the block party, not the happiest that he's staying. So I also think keep, as far as I don't want to see what he would do to us if he came back and started against us.
That's fair.
You mean like if he went to another team that actually would use him and play
If he went to a team and then could exact his revenge on us in a game, I think he would very much do so.
Turnbull was good against us when he came back. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to Okiyoshi, which is me. I'm gonna go loan again. I really like actually Taimu. I think we kind of did him dirty by starting him so much so early last season before he was really settled into the team. But I saw enough that I do think there's a good player there. So yeah, I'll go loan. I would like to keep him around. I just like him, quite honestly.
Exact same opinion and points for me. So loan.
Okay.
Yeah, same. Loan him to League One. Hopefully not Westchester. They were a disaster this year. Maybe the Timmy's favorite League One team in Portland. Who knows? Loan him.
Sell. I'd rather see Ibarra covering Hugo than him. I don't think him going out on loan gets him any more USL Championship ready.
I'm gonna go loan. I would say I was someone who was high on him for a while. He didn't have the best loan spell with Westchester. Obviously, he got injured. So he's definitely on the fringe for me. But I'll say loan just to develop a youngish player.
He's 24 and he's at 1 year as a pro. So I want to see him develop.
Yep. Chat is absolutely relentless tonight. A+ stuff going on there.
Yeah.
So FGB would sell Timmy. I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, I guess so. No, and Jess. Yeah, thanks, Matt.
I like being able to type in the chat and not monitor it and pull stuff up. So this is fun.
Yeah. Okay, so Hervo, Mick, we've seen some back and forth on whether or not he's under contract for next year. I sincerely believe that he is, without ever talking to the man. Either way, this is Andrew Quadros.
Keep. I mean, that guy, another versatile player, and I think that when Rhode Island is at its best and playing its best, he's usually a part of that and on the field. And I want to see him stay and continue to be a part of that.
Yeah, totally agree. Keep. Kano loves him. We love him. Keep.
Yeah, big keep. I think he's one of the, what I talked about with Isaac, midfielder who can come on and change the game defensively, scoring goals. He's just a really sound player. He's a solid pro. Knows what he's doing. He operates at an even keel. Doesn't really, do anything dumb on the pitch. And the moment with him and Zach at the Guild at the block party solidifies that for me. So just a great dude. Keep.
Start.
Did you say this for the adult midfield? It was just those three, right?
Yeah. I am very clear on what I want to see happen. So yes, to be clear, I think he's one of the most talented midfielders on the team. I think we saw that in the postseason where he actually got a run of games. And again, for him to not be in the starting lineup in the Eastern Conference Finals, I think was very tragic because he was one of the engines that was keeping us going in the playoffs.
Super versatile too.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. Obvious keep, unanimous in the chat.
Yep.
I've already got to sell the next one, but yeah, it is Chico and it is Matt Hands.
Yeah, I get Chico.
Under contract next season.
Yeah, I'm keep. I think look, obviously we had high expectations for him going into year one. Coming off the golden boot and all that, and he has not lived up to that. And he's caught a lot of flack from a lot of us, myself included. But I almost feel like, he, as stupid as it sounds, I think the Chicolio stuff and like the some important goals. Hey, he got the 2 goals against North Carolina in the playoffs. You know, he did some stuff towards the end of the year, sort of redeemed himself, I think, in some people's eyes, mine at least. And I think, yeah, I think he's a keep. Yeah. Plus, I don't know if we sold him, if we get a lot for him anyway. So keep. There we go.
It's keep. It's totally keep. It's got to be keep. Golden Boot 2026 loading Chico. I took the headphones off. I can't even hear the guys laughing at me or making fun of his take. But keep. He's going to have a hell of a year.
This is tough. So I obviously
headphones.
love the Chicolio celebration. I think he did have a really fantastic playoffs, but I just worry we had a lot of time this year to rely on him as the main striker, and I just don't know that we ever saw it click. And with the money he's on, you figured you might be able to bring in another person who for potentially cheaper, so we can spread the money elsewhere. So I'm going to say sell just for the thought that he's probably on a decently high wage comparatively, and that money could be spent elsewhere.
I am gonna go keep. And I agree with Matt Hands actually. Like it could be fool's gold, but the 10 minutes that he scored twice in North Carolina combined with his cameo in Pittsburgh, like I feel like we saw renewed Chico. I do feel like I kind of do, and like I feel like
sample size kings on this podcast.
Yeah. And I was like heading into last season, I was Matt on this podcast. I was like, he's scoring 15 goals. He's back. And he obviously did not. But yeah, I'm keeping Chico. And I genuinely don't think we could sell him even if we wanted to. So let's just hope we get the best version of him.
I'm fucking shocked that he's going to end up being
genuinely crazy.
This is ridiculous. Like we just talked about not having a recency bias with Mark. Get the fuck off the team. He had all year to prove himself. He was the man for most of the team with JJ Hurt, and he didn't do shit. And we can say that it was part of the system, and maybe he was just a victim of the system not being able to produce enough opportunities for him. But he did not do enough to carry this team or to score when we needed him to. And he was great in the playoffs. I love the Chicolio celebration and all that fun that it brought to us. Like that was amazing. I love that he got brought to life a little bit in the playoffs. But I am not falling for this again. Last year, I thought. Same thing with you, Timmy. We went into this year. I thought he was going to score 15-plus goals. I thought he was going to have another great season. I have no faith that's going to happen. He's had way more bad games than good games. Way, way more. He is not someone that is worth the wage that we are paying for him when it could be reused in other parts of the roster to reinforce there. I do agree that it would be tough to break that contract. I'm sure he wouldn't want to sign away his wages. And no one's going to pick that up. So it's probably unrealistic to think that he's going to be sold. But I do not want him on the team. I'd rather find somebody else. So.
Okay. Well, overruled. But fair points. We'll keep it moving.
This is wild to me. But continue. For everything Andrew said.
Yeah. Well, Matt. Dwayne Atkinson, who we assume is under contract for next season.
Me, Matt.
Yep.
Keep. I like his electricity off the bench. Keep.
Yeah, also keep. I also like that he is a potential legitimate winger option, which we don't have a ton on this team, and the fact that he can play both out wide and feel comfortable, in that kind of attacking midfield area, I really like. Love his work rate, and I think he just brings a different kind of edge to this team.
Edging, yeah, totally agree. Love him off the bench. I didn't really see enough that I want him to start necessarily, but great depth option. So keep.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Keep.
Yeah, same. Keep. I think he's good. Yeah, good bench option. Doesn't look like he's ever going to be able to start. At least when he did start, it wasn't great. But I think energy off the bench. He's absolutely the guy. Made a difference in North Carolina when he came on in the playoffs as well, and on other occasions. So yeah, keep.
Also, add if we keep him, maybe give him one of those nice puffer vests for the block party. Poor guy was frozen.
Anything. There's a lot of Actually, unanimous keeps. Another unanimous keeps in the chat, which is great. Love Dwayne. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be Ryan JJ Williams, who, to our knowledge, is a club option that has not publicly been decided on yet for next season.
Does anyone have a strong answer to start?
No, I'm very torn. Well, yeah, I would keep him. I think you bring him back, and there's a clear theme developing in my picks, which is like, I still think this was a good roster with a couple of holes that grossly underperformed. So I would bring JJ back. I think he's. I don't think there's really an upgrade out there for him. Olex Anderson is presumably available, and I think a good player, but different profile. And I don't think he would pair as well with Dikwa as JJ does with his hold-up play. So I'm keeping JJ.
Yeah, but Pawtucket J nailed it in the chat. This isn't a hard one. This is keep all day. I don't think he ever got. Sorry to jump out of order, but I just want to stand on that. This is not a hard one. He was definitely injured throughout this whole season. I don't think he fully recovered. I think he came back a little too quick. And I don't think we saw that same kind of pop. He didn't have the playoffs like he had last year, but I totally expect a rebound year from JJ.
The devil's advocate view of that is that he's always going that risk is always going to be there with his play style, with his body style, like that. That's always going to be a risk there. But I do want to keep him because I think the issue he had a down year. He had some bright spots in there. I think he was poor in the playoffs.
Who didn't though?
Yeah, that's true. And I think it was largely a function of the players around him not having a true partner to help him and take.
You don't want to admit that it was the system, Andrew.
It was very much the system, but not having a true partner there with him put so much on him that it made it very difficult for him to stand out. So even if there is an upgrade over him, bring that upgrade in and put JJ next to him, and that's what I want to see. I just don't want to see JJ by himself there, but he's good enough. Like he's a good player, and we just need more there, knowing that he's probably going to be missing games again next year.
Was that a keep?
Keep, yeah.
I have to say keep, but I do definitely. I'm with Andrew though on the injury concern thing. I do think that has to play a factor, and a healthy JJ who's firing is like on all cylinders is like unstoppable in this league. Like we've seen it at times, particularly last year, playoffs, late in the season into the playoffs, right? But so I think that is the injury stuff is a consideration, but also at the same time, even when he's not scoring, he's holding the ball up. He's helping us progress downfield if we can't play through midfield. And that's something we don't have with anyone else in the squad. So I think you have to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm keep on all that, but I look at this spreadsheet and we have the worst offense in the league, and we're saying keep it the whole thing, like run it back. Like, so I'm struggling with that. Like, and that's where I kind of had a big pause because, we've seen what some extremely talented people like a Cal Jennings, Taylor Caldera on Tulsa, seeing what he did in the final. There's a lot of talent out there, and I really struggle with the fact that we are all like three keeps on our attackers when our attack I think was very underwhelming all year. But keep moving.
We can also say that they didn't have enough attacking pieces to begin with, though. So I think that plays a part. But I generally agree with your point.
Well, the problem is, sure, but probably part of that is because we have a bunch of very expensive attacking pieces that aren't working.
Yeah,
so.
I agree.
I think Matt nailed it in the chat, though, and you guys kind of alluded to it. Who do you replace him with? That's the big question. I don't think that caliber player to replace JJ when he's firing is out there and available.
My only like pushback on that though is like we only saw him firing for maybe 2 or 3 games this season. And that's the struggle is like, are you because like keeping both him and Chico, you're saying like we're basically not going to sign any other attackers because of the amount of wages going that way. And I just struggle with that part of it, which obviously I don't know any of the particulars, so I could be completely wrong, but I'm assuming both of them are on pretty decent wages. And I just struggle with, is it going to be another season where, oh shit, we only got, a couple games out of JJ, two of them were like the next level that you expect, and then it's another shit. If he only stayed healthy, we would have been better. So that's where
I think as long as Kano's here, JJ is going to be here as well, though.
Yeah, I don't disagree on that. I just saying for my personal ledger here.
Yeah, I feel like unanimous keep it doesn't accurately reflect how complicated this one actually is. Like I could really see it going either way this offseason for all of the reasons that we're talking about.
Yeah.
But
so for Jajaya, since we're going out of order now, I'll go first. So see you, buddy. Love you. Love your energy. Love that you watch Tide Talk. Love that you follow along here. But Sal, I don't think Jajaya brings enough. I think he's really predictable. I think he's too slow in his decision making. I think he holds back the offense a lot. I think he isn't versatile enough. And there's also the added element of him having to miss games because of Rwanda, which is great for him. I'm not knocking him on that. But it also adds complication in many pivotal points in the season when he's out. I'd rather see them upgrade that spot. I'd rather Aldir take that spot if we stick with him in the same system. I just think we can get an upgrade there.
Yeah, am I going? I agree. I agree, Sal. I like Jojea. We know I'm a huge Rwanda national team fan. Timmy's well aware of from following that. I'm a booby, as they say. Yeah, I almost going along with Ryan was saying about hey, like our attack sucked and we're keeping everyone in the attack. Like I kind of have to like pick someone out, and even though we don't have any other like real like other than Busy, any real like wingers, I think he's someone that maybe we could, try to replace, try to get another winger in there. So.
Well, Quizera gave us one of our better sound bites of the season, but I think it's still too. I think the Rwanda thing is a big, caveat to this piece, like Andrew mentioned. I also know how much he hates USL Championship officiating, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him move on and play in another country or elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm also Sal. I think, he's brought a lot of great moments for this team, but he's also had some pretty tough ones. That red card in the USL Championship against the game against Charleston, also missing time with Rwanda. Again, to Andrew's point, is awesome for him and definitely not knocking him there. But as people have said, availability is the best ability, and it's always tough to lose him for those moments. Again, not a knock because it's a fantastic thing, but at the same time, I just think he's lost a bit of his effectiveness, and it all depends on what type of system we're trying to play. But I like what Aldair brought from his ability to really cross with both of his feet and make things happen even when his kind of one go-to move wasn't available.
Yeah, I think this is harsh on Quizera. I'm also Sal. I do think he had a down season compared to his first year with us. I also wouldn't be shocked to see him go to another USL Championship team and get 5 goals and 5 assists coming off the bench for like a good team. So I feel like it could haunt us, but it is a sell for me, and that's a unanimous sell. Mostly sells all in the chat. So we will move along to Ndongo. I never saw Ndongo play. He came off the bench one match, right? I think I was in Portugal. Loan, I guess. I mean, from what I've heard, he didn't look totally ready, but I'll let you guys fight that one out.
I don't think he's physically ready. He's 18 years old, so like I think it'd be foolish to sell him at this point. Like it's either a keep or a loan. I don't know. It's hard not having seen him much to know if he's someone that could contribute next year. My gut tells me loan him. Like get him to a place maybe in League One where he can play against men and try to develop more physically and get more time at the professional level. So that's where I lean loan.
Yeah, same. I think loan. I didn't see too much of him this year. I think he played against Louisville. Got some match against New Mexico last game of the season. But I'd love to know where we found him, where Kano found him, because he randomly was in some Cameroonian academy and playing in like, I don't know, some Bahrain or something. But I would loan. I think he loan him to League One, let him develop. Yeah.
I'm loan as well. I think Andrew nailed all the points on that one. I think he's a boy. He's a boy amongst men still. So loan, see what he can do.
Yep, same.
All right. Brings us to the last player. And at some point, Ryan gave up his right to lead. So I'm going to give this one to him since this is boy. We got Noah Fuson, who is under contract for next season.
The Tide Talk logo was there, but I can't pull over anymore, sir. So this is as far out as I can go on the spreadsheet.
It is Noah Fuson.
Start.
Now.
Oop, that's me. Yeah, I am also keep. Like, again, today thinking about it, I played around with a few versions of like, is this the spot where you try to like shake things up? No, it's not. You keep Noah 100%.
Yeah, he's a guy that I think plays at his best when he's playing with confidence. And the style that we played all year long, the inconsistency in the tactics and moving everything around just never allowed him to develop that confidence or feel comfortable in the role that he was playing in. So you keep him because he's one of our more talented guys and can really contribute to a powerful offense like we saw last year. The whole offense needs to get reworked. I think we generally like a lot of the guys in the offense, not all of them, but a good number of them. And it's just a matter of figuring out how to best utilize them together. And he should be a part of that. So keep.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I think keep. I don't know. I could go on. I'm just going to say keep.
+1, like and subscribe.
All right. That's another.
I think Timmy has brought back the entire roster. That's incredible.
Yeah. So I do think that there is an interesting exercise to be had here with like summarizing where we all netted out. In the interest of time, I think maybe we put that out in a list or something afterwards, but we maybe move on to the next segment just to get everyone to bed, at an appropriate hour. Is everyone on board with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to flip back to the slides.
People do want us to do Kano.
Oh. Who wants to? Yeah. I mean,
I'm still keep. I was keep
yeah.
when we talked about it mid-season. I still think he's young or not young, but he is young, but inexperienced. It's only his second year. He's being asked to take on a lot. I want to see him get more help, particularly on the GM side. I want to see him have time to correct what we saw this year. And if he can't do it, if we have another year of this year, then my answer will change at this point next year. But I think you give him another year and see if he can work through it, because I do think he's talented and should have another shot at it.
Yeah, I agree. It's like short leashed keep for me, like 10, 15 games tops, and see where we're at. That's not what I think they will do. I think he's here either way. I would see how we start next season. I would look for signs of life better than anything we saw this season.
So I agree with Quadros, and I have to even push back on the like short leash thing. Like I don't know. I'm torn about this. I know us as fans, probably everyone listening here, and obviously the 5 of us, like we all heavily scrutinize every game and every decision that happens. But also at the end of the day, I think I said this in the last pod, like last week, like he's taken a new team, his first 2 years coaching, first 2 years of the team existing, to like the final and then the conference final in back-to-back years. And like, yeah, we've had a lot of shit during the regular season that didn't go the way we wanted to go. But I think you have to like keep that in mind, that like, I don't know who we're going to get. That's all of a sudden we're going to get some great coach and we're going to be like a better team. Like maybe better in the regular season. But if you look at the results at the end of the day, like I don't know who we're going to get that's going to improve that. And then also, yeah, like Quadros was saying, he's improving. He needs to improve as a coach, I think. But he is young. It's his second year as a head coach. So, I think there's room for him to kind of grow in that. And hopefully he does. But that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is my actual initial thought here is almost like loan. It's because I almost want him to get that experience. I think he definitely there's a lot of good pieces there, but we need to see it all come together. But I am keep here because I don't think you can loan a coach in this scenario. But yeah, my biggest thing is I need Coach Kano and GM Kano to get on the same page and put together a roster that complements each other, that actually plays to the style he wants to play, versus him having to kind of adjust his tactics constantly throughout the season. And quite frankly, I don't think we ever got to a place where the system ever was consistent and cohesive. So yeah, again, I need Coach Kano and GM Kano to kind of have a meeting of the minds and figure it out here.
Yeah. I think this whole conversation will roll nicely into the 2025 season reflection.
Boy, look at that hosting
survey. So I'm really going to kick it to you, Quadros. This was your brainchild, so you can introduce.
Yeah, and before I kick it off, just to address Coach Ahmed's point, Jose Mourinho does sound nice in this moment. Partly because I'm not sold that he's the right guy for Benfica. So sure, bring him to Rhode Island. I'm in. So thank you to everybody who participated in the survey. It was mentioned results. We had over 50 people respond, and then out of that group, over half left some optional commentary there. So thank you to everybody to participate. And what I did was I took all of those different responses. Remember, you could select up to 5 of those 30 adjectives and stack ranked them and threw them into a word cloud generator. So this was the result. So obviously, for those who aren't familiar with word clouds, the bigger the text, the more that word came up out of the selected group. So really, what we see here, the purple ones are the biggest text there. So frustrating was the number one answer. Inconsistent and underwhelming were right there. Mixed. I was surprised to see hopeful up there as well. So I'm assuming that that's more in reference to the playoff run that we had and kind of what we can take into next year as a result of it. And you kind of see that next group down: unpredictable, conflicted, disappointing, confusing, uneven. And you look at the smallest ones here: impressive, dramatic, energizing, and then embarrassing was there too. So I think this generally tracks with my answers. It generally tracks with what I was expecting. But you all are seeing this for the first time. So I'm curious to the group here. What are your gut reactions just kind of seeing this word cloud?
I agree it tracks. I was real quick. Sorry. I agree it tracks. I think like frustrating was obviously like the first thing that I thought when I look at all the adjectives of what would be the first one I would pick. So the fact that that's up there, inconsistent. Yeah, I mean, I guess I am a little surprised about hopeful, like you were saying, being up there as well. Like you said, maybe, like Quadra said, maybe in relation to the playoff run. But yeah, I think it pretty much sums up what I think it would be. It sums up the fans' feelings, or what I would expect the fans' feelings to be on the team this year. I think it sums it up well.
I think hopeful being big is the biggest shock, as you both alluded to, and I guess it's the hope that kills you. Maybe that's what people are going for with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is I like wanted to put hopeful, but I was like, well, what other than the playoff run, like what about the performances made me feel hopeful for next season? And like I didn't have much that came to mind. When I was thinking about it, like I don't think we saw a lot of progress during the season. I've said a lot of times that every time I felt like we put one, sometimes two good performances together in a row, it was like we would completely regress back to the frustrating team that we were. We even saw that happen in the playoffs with 2 good performances in Charleston and North Carolina, followed by absolute stinker in Pittsburgh. It was just like that all season. So yeah, hopeful is the one that stands out to me as well. The rest of these generally make sense to me, and I don't think it's crazy to have selected hopeful. Like it was our first season in a new stadium, really strong roster that apparently we all want to bring 90% of back. So I guess I can see the logic behind putting hopeful, but that's kind of the one that stood out to me as well.
Yeah, and then just to mention, there were 30 adjectives, 26 of them were used. 24 of them were used. There were 6 that were not used amongst the, I think, 51 or 52 submissions. Rewarding, depressing, which I'm actually surprised nobody out of 50 plus people said depressing.
Yeah.
Inspiring, discouraging, which is another one I was surprised. Miserable, which I'm not totally surprised. I mean, as bad as the season was, I don't think any of us were we had maybe bouts of being miserable, but for the most part, it was still fun to watch his team all year. And then the least surprising one, satisfying. Nobody found this to be a satisfying season. So I just found that interesting that those were the 6 that were not used. Cool. Any last comments before I move on to the commentary that we were given? All right.
No,
so,
I mean, it was obviously a weird season. Like the amount of times we talked about us. I mean, we were dead last in the league for goals scored for almost the entire thing. We were not a very good home team in our new stadium. The team was very inconsistent both with their play, but also with just the starting lineups and people being in and out with injuries. So, a lot of this tracks. And, I think if you did a word cloud of our podcast throughout the year, I wouldn't be shocked if these were pretty similar there.
Yeah, I agree. Cool. So
painful would be higher.
Painful having to listen to us is actually the
yeah, exactly.
And then for all the comments that we gave, thank you for the people that did take the time to drop in their comments. We had some shorter ones, we had some longer essays, so thank you for doing that. We put our double pivot AI intern to work, and I threw all the comments in there and asked it to kind of develop what are the big themes that we saw across the different comments, and I will highlight a few of them as well that I'll read off. But really just looking at the big themes. So there were kind of 4 big ones that were highlighted by our AI intern. So inconsistency driven by coaching, tactics, and lineup changes. And the summary there is that fans overwhelmingly point to the same root issue: constant rotation, unclear tactics, questionable lineup decisions, and players used out of position. The team never established a stable identity, and supporters felt the coaching staff struggled to maximize the talent on the roster. I think that pretty much nails it. The second theme was injuries and roster imbalance undermined cohesion. So early and frequent injuries, especially to key attacking players, derailed momentum. At the same time, the roster was heavily crowded in some areas, particularly in midfield and center back, and then thin in other areas, striker and fullback. This imbalance made it hard for the team to build chemistry or maintain consistent performances. Third theme was underachievement relative to expectations. With a returning core, a new stadium, big investment, and last year's success, supporters expected a top-tier regular season. Instead, poor home form, a weak attack, and uneven performances led many to view the season as a missed opportunity and a step backward from what the team should have achieved, which, again, I think that's spot on. The last bucket, bright spots amid frustration, atmosphere, talent, and elite surge. Despite the struggles, fans highlighted major positives: an elite goalkeeper, several promising newcomers, a strong playoff push, and an excellent stadium atmosphere. These glimpses of quality kept optimism alive and provide hope for a more cohesive, competitive 2026. I think these are all spot on. I can quibble a little bit about how much hope for next year because of the late surge, but we did bring in good talent. The atmosphere was great. So I think the commentary just did a really good job of kind of summarizing what this season brought us. Before I highlight some of the comments that I like the best, any reactions to this set of themes?
Just, I think, and it's a lot of what people are commenting on in the chat as well. Like, one thing, to be fair to the team, that is hard to capture through the adjectives and this exercise too, is like, we did make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. We made it to the semifinals in the Jägermeister Cup. We opened the brand new stadium. I think, like, while we all would like to see the performances improved next year, I do think a lot did go right. So I was more inclined to pick adjectives and as I've been commenting on the season as a whole, that reflected how I felt about the performances. And I think probably a lot of people skewed that way, but I do think on paper, there's enough to be happy about. Like, I don't think it's a failure of a season. So I guess that would kind of be my overall comment, which is not directly related to any of these 4 bullet points, but that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I mean, my only concern just keeps going. I see a lot of comments in the chat about, making it to the semifinals, as you just mentioned, Timmy, of both the Jägermeister Cup and the entire, playoffs. And I just, my only struggle there is, like, even with the semifinals of the Jaeger Cup, like, it was like, I think a 1-0 and then like a 0-0 game. And then the playoffs, we scored 1 like true open play goal in 3 matches. So it's just tough that it was a team that never progressed it really in terms of like the problem it had all year. We never figured out that one problem. And I think that was really our Achilles heel. which obviously saw us go out of that in that shootout against Sacramento, and then against Pittsburgh where we couldn't score in that game. Obviously, there's other circumstances there with the red card, but at the end of the day, I think the issue I find is being overly putting too much eggs in the basket of like we made these cup runs. Where cup runs, I mean, we just saw Pittsburgh win a championship scoring 1 open play goal in 4 matches, which is genuinely insane, and it just shows kind of how wacky playoff soccer is, where that can happen, where those are really just coin flips there. So I would there are people saying like, oh, Louisville lost in the first round. They did, but like I'd feel a lot more comfortable going into the playoffs with what you saw from Louisville all year than what we did. So I would like to see a team that is building throughout the season towards something versus like kind of what we saw of a team that really never figured it out. Like I don't think still to this day we know like what was our actually best 11, and I think that's a massive problem I have with the way this season panned out.
I think a lot of it too that's kind of fresh in all of our minds as match going fans, and a lot of the chat too, is just the home form, the inability to play at home, which we were also excited about the new season. So I think that's a big downer on all of this as well.
Well, I think the other thing too, like while we weren't very good at home, we also had a really bad away record, which I think was kind of we kept talking about like road warriors, road dogs, and like I think it was kind of almost like under the radar how not good we were on the road this season as well. So again, it all goes back to the same thing. This was not a team that played well for the majority of the season, and I really struggle with just being like, well, we made a good cup run at the end of the season that just paper over all of that, because I don't think that is a way to evaluate a full season.
Well said.
The stuff that happens in March also counts. Stuff that happens in May counts. Stuff that happened in the depths of June, July counted. And it's why we still have yet to host a playoff game at Tidewater or Burn last year, because we've seen this team kind of really throw away big chunks of both seasons so far.
Yeah, and I said in last week's kind of end of season wrap up pod that unless you're winning the championship, which only one team can claim out of the whole league, the journey does matter. How you get there matters, what your feelings are throughout the season, how the team is developing and progressing. That stuff does matter. We can't just look at the end result and say, yeah, they were 1 game away from the finals, so it was a good year. Everything else that happened in between starting in March matters.
Yeah.
Cool. So I just want to review just a few of the comments that I like the best, or snippets of them. So just a handful. I feel like I don't know a thing about this team after watching them all year. I thought was fair. Another person said, it took me until near the end of the season to realize I was frustrated with Kano. The offseason surge of midfielder recruitment was confusing and ultimately led to an inconsistent merry-go-round of players in midfield while having a lack of devoted talent at other positions. Said some other stuff, but capped it off with, despite Deco playing well in the playoffs, he clearly cannot be the focal point of the RAFC offense. Fully agree. Another person said it was difficult to watch the play on the pitch at times, especially the earlier home matches. Went on to say there's room for a lot of optimism now, especially with newcomers like Hugo, Ame, and Hamidi, which I agree with. Another person said frustrating for how slow the start was and how difficult goals were to come by. Hopeful that these issues can be fixed through scheme and personnel adjustments. Went on to say, new stadium is fantastic and the affection for the team is inspiring. And in his case, I think people's frustrations is a great sign. I doubt people would be frustrated if they didn't care, which I think is fair. The fact that we're here complaining about this shows that we have a passionate fan base. And I think that's a really good point to highlight, that we're not just like, whatever. Couple more. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. The stadium and atmosphere were awesome. I never followed soccer much. Had some time watching MLS, but RFC felt different. Felt like the team cared about the fans around them, which I loved. Prioritize help at both fullback positions. One from Chico and Ibarra to spend that money elsewhere, and be sure to hold Kano and the team to a higher standard when they're playing confusing nowhere football in front of their deserving fans. Again, spot on. And then for the last one, maybe my favorite comment, fuck Hartford. That's all it said. I love that comment. Spot on.
Hell yeah.
So we have an educated fan base here, an educated listener base for a Tie Talk. I think that people nailed it with these adjectives. And granted, a lot of that is feelings based. Like, how did you feel about the season? But reading back these comments, I think people understand it. And they see that this team had a very up and down year, and there were more downs than ups. And despite where it landed, I think that there's some stuff that you can be hopeful about in the future, but for the most part, we want to hold the team and the coaching to a higher standard. And I think that we should continue to push for that going into next year. And like I said earlier, I think we keep Kano and just see what he can come up with. But we as fans deserve more, and I think we got to keep pushing for it. Any other reactions to that before we wrap things up?
Spot on.
Nailed it.
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. So that wraps up our agenda for tonight. So thank you for everybody who are in the live chat, that are listening to this on the podcast. And we really appreciate everyone taking the time to do the survey, like I said. So before we go around the horn for final thoughts, I will, as always, ask Timmy, how would you rate tonight's performance?
Timekeeping, I'm gonna once again give all of us like a 4, but I think takes were good. So I'll give us a 6 blended score.
All right, that's you had one more shot to give us a 7. You still didn't take it. We're 0 for 4 in that, I think, but all good.
High.
Yeah. Kerwin, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I know Pawtucket J asked about it in the chat. I definitely want to give a big shout out to Tim from Authy Creative for our new logo, and everyone who took some time to drop some comments on that. I think it came out awesome. We've got a whole new graphics package we'll be rolling out with new episodes, game day, everything. So excited for what we have rolling into 2026. Also pretty surreal, kind of weird when you're at the block party and people you haven't met yet come up to you and say like, "Oh, I listen to every week." And then you hear the story of I listened in my basement to, not keep my wife awake. And then they'll introduce you to their wife and they're like, "These are the guys you spend your Sunday nights watching." Like, come on. So just want to thank everyone who tuned in. Our first full season as Tide Talk in its current iteration, second season covering the team. So thank you to everyone who tunes in week in and week out, interacts with all of our posts on socials. It's just a really fun community to be a part of. And thank you to you guys for all your hard work you do to make it what it is as well.
Awesome. Hans?
Yeah, agree with what Matt said. And then just to add, this was fun going through the whole team and good exercise, for the, keep on sell. I do think it's interesting that we complained a lot about the team and GM Kano, but then kept most of the players. So I think it's maybe more of a coaching issue that might indicate. But yeah, it was fun. Always fun to come on, whether it's on the pod or on Double Pivot, rather than just the just all the blogging. So yeah, good times. Been a long season, but still fun doing the content with you guys, and of course appreciate all the viewers and readers and everyone out there who supports us in that way. So yeah,
Thanks. Ryan?
Yeah, to echo a lot of the points that have been made so far. Just a huge shout out to everyone who listens, watches, reads the blog. We really, really appreciate it. This is absolutely nothing without you all. And I always joke that I always feel like the only 5 people who I think listen to this are the 5 people who are on this podcast. But we really do appreciate all the love we get from the community, and hopefully this is entertaining. Hopefully this is fun, and hopefully this is a benefit and a plus, a positive to the community. Yeah. So really appreciate that. Obviously a strange season, one with a lot of probably more downs than ups, but one that at the same time it's so many great memories and things that we'll all look back on, like the away trips, the great times at the stadium, the tailgates, things like that. So really appreciate everyone who's been along for the ride, and excited to see what we keep doing next year.
Thanks. Timmy, want to put an end cap here?
Outside of what you all already said, I'll just say anyone can listen to the post-Eastern Conference Finals post-match pod, but it takes a real sicko a week after the season ended to be here tonight, active in the chat, going through the entire roster. So that was just awesome. A lot of fun for us. Thank you.
And don't forget the sickos who are there for the 1-0 Indy away loss podcast. That was nightmare stuff that people survived. So truly. So yeah. just really fun. Thank you to anyone who listened and participated in the chat. To you all, I will say, really to everyone, you would think that now we'll take an extended break, leave everyone alone and stop spamming. But I just don't think any of us can step away for that long. We know the roster decisions are coming probably within the next 10 days.
So there will be some content around that. Who knows what we'll get up to this off season? But I'm guessing that, like I said, none of us can stay away for too long. So we'll hopefully be out there with something.
Yeah, and a great time to plug. Keep in touch with us. Our socials, Tide Talk RI. We're everywhere you can find anything. We also do have a newsletter that we write that will push out all of our blogs, things like that. But yeah, stay tuned there. We'll definitely make sure all of our content, any upcoming things, are all posted on socials. And big shout out to Matthew Jean in the Defiance. He just did mention that they raised over $5,000 and donated like an entire giant truck full of stuff to the Rhode Island Food Bank. So huge shout out to everyone who was involved with that, because it's going to make a big difference in a lot of people's lives this holiday season.
Absolutely. Yeah, you ate into my outro a little bit here, but
that's what I do.
Before I do the final wrap up, Timmy, we made it a whole episode without technical difficulties. It took 4 tries, but we finally
not over
did
yet.
It's not over yet. So thanks to Timmy. This has been a lot of fun doing the Double Pivot show. Thank you for our special guests here to join us. Thank you for everybody who listens to the show. If you haven't given us a thumbs up or subscribed, what are you doing? I'm guessing most of you have at this point, but definitely do that. And then just as a reminder, Tide Talk is more than just podcasts. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook for daily social media content. You can also visit us at the blog at tidetalkri.com, where you can find, and I had a whole bunch of stuff listed, but we're going into the off season. Keep an eye out for off season content. There's a lot of contributors here, including a new member and Tyler Hatch that joined us recently too. So I think we're going to have a lot to offer, even in the off season. So keep an eye on what's going out, particularly as we start getting into contract status announcements in the coming couple of weeks. So thank you all for taking the time to watch and listen. Really appreciate any and all feedback that you have. Please send it over to Timmy and myself or the rest of the group here. We'd love to hear what you think. Thanks again to our guests, to our listeners, and we'll see you next time, everybody. As always, up the tide.
Up the tide.
Up the Tide.
Up the Tide.